Dear friends, welcome to another episode of Military Operation. In this video, we will talk about the tariff war between the United States and China and try to answer a question that's been asked many times here. Now that the two largest economies in the world are completely decoupled, has the risk of a direct confrontation increased? And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. For decades, it was believed that the economic and trade ties between Washington and Beijing formed a kind of armor against war. Economies so deeply intertwined would create costs so high for any conflict that peace, even if tense, would remain the only rational option. This thinking was shared by policymakers, diplomats, military strategists, and market analysts. But the events of recent weeks have shown that this belief may have been just an illusion. Donald Trump's second term began with a fierce attack on global trade, especially with China, marked by drastic tariff increases and the raising of customs barriers to prohibitive levels. This led to harsh retaliations from Beijing, which pushed tensions to historic levels. What was once a solid system of highly complex economic and trade interdependence quickly turned into a tariff battlefield. U.S. tariffs reached 145% and China's hit 125%. Leading to a complete collapse in bilateral trade between the two largest economies in the world. The world witnessed the beginning of the greatest economic decoupling in modern history, and the consequences may not be limited to commerce alone. With the end of economic interconnection, one of the main restraints on armed conflict also disappears. Now, without the safety belt of supply chains, the two countries no longer have as much to lose in the event of military escalation. In the United States, the focus has increasingly shifted towards strategic self-sufficiency, while China is ramping up investments in trade diversification and technological independence. Both powers are deliberately preparing for an era in which they will no longer depend on each other. This new scenario is not limited to the economy, it is directly reflected in military preparations. The United States is significantly increasing its presence in the Indo-Pacific and testing new doctrines and containment technologies, while China is expanding its navy, conducting blockade exercises around Taiwan, advancing the militarization of islands, and reinforcing its strategic forces. Nationalist rhetoric and the doctrine of prolonged struggle against external pressure are shaping strategic thinking in Beijing. Parallel to all of this, Trump's actions have been shaking the foundations of the United States' long-standing alliances. Relations with Canada, Europe, and even some Asian countries have been strained by erratic speeches and policies. China, on the other hand, is investing in what experts call diplomatic charm, seeking new partnerships and promoting regional agreements. That's why what began as a mere bilateral clash now threatens to polarize the entire planet, forcing countries to choose between aligning with the US-led order and the unpredictability of Trump, or the pragmatism offered by Beijing and the brutal dictatorship led by Xi Jinping. All of this brings us to the central question: has this entire decoupling increased the risk of a direct war? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Without the mechanisms of economic deterrence, and with rising political animosity and military buildup on both sides, the risk of an accidental or deliberate escalation becomes dangerously higher. Taiwan remains the most obvious flashpoint, but it is not the only one. Incidents in the South China Sea, disputes over strategic technologies, and even financial crises could serve as triggers. While peace was once safeguarded by economic and trade interdependence, that protection is now gone, and we are entering a new era in which conflict between superpowers is no longer unthinkable. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.
In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple, can't get any simpler than that. This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. but now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly. With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before. Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country, and you see it happening already. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. And ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back, and we're going to come back very strongly.